What's up? 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 What is up? How are y'all doing today? Guys, it is now time. It is now time for us to talk about Welcome to Derry, episode 5. I am your host, Emmanuel Eman Noisette. And yeah, we got a doozy. Okay, we got some things to talk about. Okay. I want to say first and foremost, shout out to everybody. I done finally shout out to StreamYard. Now we can go live on the Instagrams. So we out there on IG, we on the gram right now. Hopefully TikTok will be coming soon. So now you guys can also be joining in on these live recaps and stuff that a lot of times people miss out on because for whatever reason, you're not following me on YouTube and Twitter and all of that. So now we about to expand. Okay. So first and foremost, yikes. Did y'all see that? Did y'all see that episode? I told y'all this is why we have to come and talk about this. So yes, first and foremost, let me go ahead and just say right now, spoiler alert. Okay, this is your alert. Spoilers are going to be discussed about episode 5 for Welcome to Derry. If you have not watched it, this is your warning. Please go somewhere else. Feel free to come on back to the replay. Watch the episode, come on back. Or if you don't care about spoilers, fine. Just sit back and have a good time and we will talk about it one way or another. But yes, we are going to be talking spoilers in this. So you have been warned. Okay. Matter of fact, just because I know this is going on Instagram and some people aren't aware, I'm going to put that also in the title as well. But let me go ahead and let's see who made it out first. Let's see who's made it out here. Give a couple quick shout outs. Let's see. Derail, what is up? Good to see you. Kristen Pratt holding it down for the Mod Squad. Appreciate you as always. Let's see. Leandra, how are you? Good to see you. Gothic Chick is here. Appreciate you always. Let's see. Vanessa, appreciate you coming through. My man Eugene is here. Shauna, hello. It's been a minute, girl. How are you? Good to see you. Derek, I see you. Good to see you. Let's see. Ocho, how you doing? Giselle, hello. T-Ville, what is up? Laura, appreciate you coming through. Let's see. That gal, how are you? Matthew, appreciate you coming through. Black Butterfly, hello. My man Lewis here. What is this? Drama, hello. Let's see. The talented one. Patrick, hello. Good to see y'all. Clinton is here. Good to see you. Let's see. Is this Letitia? Hello. Good to see you. My man Mike is here. Appreciate you coming through always. Let's see. Tanya's here as well. Let's see. The Mint. What is up? Good to see you. Who else? I saw some other folks. But yeah, shout out to everyone that has made it out. Appreciate you guys. All right, let's get into this episode because yikes. Okay, things done got turned up. Somebody who said that? Somebody, it is itting. Okay, it is itting at this point. But let's get into the episode here. Let's see. Let's get so if you recall, last time we left off, the military got the tip from basically Taniel's mind. That was Halloran was in his mind. And he found out where the pillar was. He knows where it's the little magical things that are holding Pennywise confined. They're all apparently in this house or they're located there. And of course, if you remember from It Chapter 1 and Chapter 2, this is the house where Pennywise goes wild, right? Like he goes and traps kids in there and stuff like that. So now we know that the military has that location, especially now that Halloran is finished doing his little shining session on Taniel. And he says that he has the information that they're looking for, right? So now the military's like, all right, bet, saddle up. Let's get ready to ride. So now we go back to Marge. Y'all remember Marge and her little bug-eyed situation. She's with the nurse after the whole incident. As Lily comes in to visit her, And Marge told her that, like, listen, it's all good. You know what I'm saying? Like, I covered for you. I told people it wasn't what it looked like. Basically, just to not blame, you know, so people wouldn't blame Lily. And she also apologized to her because, you know, she can see clearly now. And Lily wasn't so crazy after all. So now we get the kids back at their secret hideout just as they start hearing some noises in the tent. And it's none other than Maddie. Now, hold up. Wait a minute. Now, I know y'all have already seen the episode, but I'm just saying, at this point, I was sitting here like, yo, Maddie made it out? For real? That was crazy, right? Great introduction to the show, great twist, and all of that. Anyway, we get to General Shaw. He's briefing Leroy on the pillars that the Native Americans buried to contain Pennywise. However, Leroy, you know, he can already tell that the real mission here, it ain't to stop the monster. Y'all want to actually go capture the monster. Okay, that's what they really wanted to do. Leroy already saw through all of that, you know, and Shaw said that, listen, you know, we're going to send a squad over there to the house. You're going to be a part of it. We're going to get these pillars and we're going to run this stuff right. Okay. And Leroy was kind of mad because he was like, hold on, man. You knew about these monsters and you still let me bring my family up here anyway? And Shaw was kind of like, actually, you brought your family up here. I didn't tell you to bring your family up here. You know, just kind of playing the whole, the art of deflection. Okay, I want y'all to remember this. The art of deflection is heavy in General Shaw. Heavy. Ugh. Anyway, you know, Maddie told the kids that he and the others were in the sewers. He said that Pennywise he eats at night, sleeps during the day, and he said that Phil was still alive. So that prompted the rest of the kids to, you know, basically say, all right, cool, let's go help him. And, you know, we got to get to him, right? We got to go help him. And they mentioned getting the police, but Maddie was like, oh, hell no. Hell to the no. We ain't going back. I'm never going back. This man said, if the police come, they're going to take me back to my daddy. I'm not trying to go back. I'd rather go back to the sewers than to go back to my daddy. Now, first of all, when I saw this, I have to say I was very taken back when Maddie said this. Okay. I was sitting there like, listen, I get it. Okay. I know that things are bad at home. Your dad is probably real abusive and that made you run away from home. I get that. But you mean to tell me that your dad is so mean, so bad, that a man-eating clown that kidnapped you in the sewers and ate other kids right in front of you, that you'd rather go back to that? Now, I should have known something wasn't right at that point. I should have known at that point, but you know, we obviously find out later that there's more to it than just that. But that is when the story got a little shaky. That is when the story got a little shaky for sure. Anyway, notice something here, you know, and I'm sure you guys, you know, probably get this also. When you go back and rewatch this, if you do, Maddie is giving them all these certain details about what happens during the whole, you know, time in the sewer. He's like, yeah, you know, he's eating them, he's doing this and all that. I want y'all to go back, because when you go back, you actually will see Maddie starts to look at them to catch the kids' reactions. Of course, we already know, but he wants to see the fear in their eyes. He wants to see it. Oh, playing right in our faces the whole time. Playing. He wants to see them scared. He wants to give them those nasty details to make them scared. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Anyway, we see that the Native Americans here, they're talking about the latest events with the monster. And Rose, obviously, she got the bad news about Taniel and being taken by the military. But I want y'all to understand something. They said some important things during this meeting, right? Some things I want you to remember. They know that there's a 27-year cycle for the monster to come about. But there's also a big bloody event that happens at the end of every cycle. So probably looking back to the, what was that, the 1935 whatever, that big massacre shooting with the Brady gang and all of that, that was probably the end of the cycle. So every single time the cycle is about to end, just keep in mind all hell is about to break loose. So we know this, there is going to be an end of this cycle, since obviously it chapter 1 and 2 happens. So that means whatever happens, more than likely there's some craziness that's about to happen. Okay, so just, I think they're foreshadowing that at that point, but at the end of the cycle, anticipate that. But there was an even more critical thing that was said here. And remember, I told y'all Derry is like a character in itself, right? Derry has these certain attributes where, for one, you will become meaner, you will become apathetic, you won't care about mean things that happen, you know, to other people or whatever, and you forget, right? Like there's this side effect of when you're in Derry, you tend to forget, or I'm sorry, when you leave Derry, you forget everything that happens. Here's the thing. The Native American actually said Pennywise actually sheds, and its discharge has tainted Derry's groundwater since Derry was founded. This right there could explain exactly why and how Pennywise is able to affect people in Derry for so long, right? This might be why they forget, or why they act mean or whatever, because he's, I guess in a sense, they're being poisoned by him. You know, the water is tainted in that way. So it also makes me wonder, are the Native Americans affected by this? Like, if they know that the water is messed up because of the creature shed, I wonder if they drink from a different water supply. I wonder if they like boil their water for or something, right? I just wonder, because clearly they know about the monster. They have these oral traditions that help them remember. They have these meetings and stuff. So, you know, I think that that's a pretty interesting little detail that they threw in there, just to kind of let us know another little tidbit about Pennywise. Anyway, we go over to the prison and we see, or we go to the police station, and Hank is being escorted to the bus that's going to take him over to Shawshank, of course. Remember, Shawshank is canon here, right? And just then, a lone gunman comes and rushes in and tries to take a shot, but thankfully he was stopped. And this is, of course, one of the parents of the murdered kids. So, you know, Charlotte, she was in the crowd, and while all this commotion was happening, look who was over there having a good old time. Just enjoying the hatred in the air. Just having a good old time, smiling about. Just madness. Just Pennywise is a problem, okay? Anyway, we see General Shaw. He's watching the civil rights protests on TV as Rose comes in, you know, to see about her nephew. He told her that he was given a drug by the government, and then all his memories came rushing back. So here's the thing. Did that drug maybe counteract whatever the side effects were of Pennywise? Is that something that, you know, could be something to take into consideration in the future? I don't know. Maybe we can kind of keep that in the back of our minds. But he said that he started to remember everything after this. And Rose, she realized that Shaw, he just wants to try and control the monster and use it for the military. Now, she also finds out that they know where the pillars are located because of their investigation on her nephew. So she offers to help them. Now, we see that during this whole conversation, that we get Rose going back to her home. And it turns out that in her safe, she actually is in possession of the same dagger that we saw from those flashbacks earlier. So this is the same dagger that the ancient people were using, that the natives were using to hold Pennywise back at times before they did the 13 pillars. So she ends up going to go visit her nephew, while he's being interrogated. And she gives him the dagger But of course, they confiscated it in the meantime. Now, Will and his family, they are now moving on to the military base from their home. And meanwhile, we see Lily. She goes over none other than Mrs. Kirsch's home, right? I remember y'all was suspect of Miss Kirsch, but we need to talk about this too. Okay. Now, it turns out that Mrs. Kirsch is actually married to Mr. Kirsch, as we suspected. And that was the guy from the deli. Now, he definitely, first of all, he's on full creep mode right here, right? And he seemed a whole lot more antisocial. And he warned his wife about overcooking his steak this time. And you can see the look in her face. Okay. There's clearly some sort of abusive situation going on here, one way or another. And here's the thing. I should have known, because if y'all recall, when you go back to that episode and you see the introduction of Mr. Kirsch, or what was he called himself? The Cleaver, Mr. Cleaver, whatever it was. He seemed a little too nice. He was a little too friendly, right? And the thing is, I'm sorry, I don't know about y'all, but it felt like he was putting on a front. Because for me, I don't ever trust anybody. I don't care if I'm going to a store, a restaurant, whatever. If you seem too nice, if you seem too happy, a little too cheery, I don't trust you. I don't know about y'all. Listen, when I go in public and I see people smiling when they don't need to be smiling, I'm saying, what's wrong? What are you hiding? It just don't feel right. Okay? It just don't feel right. And that's kind of what I was feeling with Mr. Kirsch. And I feel like there's something up with him. And it seems like, yeah, he's definitely got a dark side to him, right? Anyway, Mrs. Kirsch, she actually tells Lily to go to the police and not to go down in the sewers. And this is where things are not adding up. Please remember, Mrs. Kirsch was the one that was actually encouraging Lily to go and investigate and to go to the cemetery, take the pictures and all that. But now she's telling her to back off. I'm just saying this ain't adding up. Is she still suspect to y'all? Because now she's actually sounding kind of reasonable. She's actually sitting here saying nah, actually, maybe you should go to the police. Maybe you shouldn't go into the sewers. I mean, I know some people were sitting here saying she might be in on it. She could be, Pennywise's daughter or whatever. But I'm just saying, she sounds reasonable right now. Right now. Anyway, Will heads out. He wants to go explore the base, but we know he's about to go hang out with his friends. Charlotte hears the news that the bus that was transporting the Shawshank prisoners got into an accident, and Hank is now missing. We also hear that there was a gas main leak or whatever at some cross section across town. But of course, that's a lie, because that's really just the military setting up their operation to go into Pennywise's house. And, back at the hideout, Lily comes up with Marge, and immediately, who got questions but Ronnie? Okay, listen, I'm telling y'all, I love Ronnie's energy. She what's she doing here? Why she here? Why folk come? Because we know she a whole patty cake chick. We don't trust them patty cake chicks, and rightfully so. All them girls they've been shady, they've been deceptive, right? So yes, Ronnie, the main person asking the right questions, but Margie was like, "Hey, yo, you know what I'm saying? Listen, I'm fine. I'm done with that. I done seen the light. Okay, I'm over that. I'm over that." Anyway, Lily agrees that now they can't have Maddie go to the police because they'll send him back to his dad. But they do need to go into the sewers because they got to go save Phil and the other kids and try to help save Hank, right? Lily threatens Maddie, and she basically says yo, if you don't help us go into the sewers, we gonna tell the cops on you. So you're going to have to figure it out. You're going to do this the hard way or the easy way. Now, Richie, Richie, of course, is scared. He hold on, man, we finna get eaten down there. I don't want to go down there, but Lily was like, hold on. Nah, we good, because listen, all we got to do is pop these mollies and be fine. Okay, everything is all good if we have some drugs. Now, first of all, I want anybody watching. Drugs are bad. Please don't do drugs. This is a fictional show. Drugs are bad. Okay, don't do the drugs. Please don't. Anyway, Lily said, her daddy told her people are two things in life. They're either going to be your anchors or your lifeboats. So which one are you, right? They either going to lift you up or hold you down. First of all, shout out to Lily's dad, because those were bars, okay? You're going to have to figure out sometime in your life whether people around you are lifeboats or anchors. Are they holding you back or are they pushing you forward into the sunset? Come on, Lily's daddy, with the word from beyond the grave. Oh my goodness. Anywho, everybody said that they were lifeboats. Why? Because they all float up here. Yeah, you see, I feel like that's a connection somewhere. I feel like that was a connection. Anyway, the military go into the home to get these pillars, and Daniel's, of course, leading the way. Halloran is there. And as he's walking around, and Daniel does have the dagger with him. Halloran hears the name, somebody calling out his name, but nobody else hears it. Okay, no one else hears it except for him. And as he's about to walk forward, boom, he falls into a body of water, which is a whole lot deeper than the little dip that was supposed to be in the sewer. Okay, that I need y'all to understand what is happening here. He starts swimming and ends up in a bathtub, and the other military folks, they can't even find him, right? That's how high the water is, and this man went all the way down and went all the way into it, right? So I need y'all to understand, this is a crazy display of Pennywise's power. Not only does he create these mental traps for people, he is literally distorting reality. Okay, he changed reality. This is different. This is not just happening in Halloran's mind. This is also, he made this man disappear. He transported him, dare I say, into his own mind. If that's the explanation for it, I think he transported Halloran into Halloran's own mind. This is next level stuff. Freddy Krueger ain't got nothing on this. This is what I be talking about. Pennywise is a menace. Pennywise is probably the most powerful villain out there. Anyway, Halloran gets out and finds his grandmother warning him again, because keep in mind, she was warning him before that he is coming. And then, of course, out of nowhere, boom, here comes the grandfather into the bathroom. And of course, this is probably alluding to the fact that, Halloran was afraid of his grandfather. His grandfather was probably abusive, probably to his grandmother as well. I mean, who walks around with a whole pistol in his hip like that in his house? So clearly, grandfather was a problem, right? Clearly, he was a problem. Anyway, the military, they're back in the sewers. The soldiers, they see a terrifying image of Uncle Sam. I mean, listen, I'd be scared too. Okay, I already told y'all straight up, I ain't never served. I almost did serve. But 9/11 happened, and I was like, no, I'm good. No, thank you. But I always have so much respect for those of y'all who have gone and served, because y'all did something that I couldn't. But this right here would scare me too. If a draft where you have to go and serve in the military with no choice, yeah, that would scare me. Anyway, we see that they are still in the sewers. The kids are in there. They reach the entrance, and they say, hey, listen, let's make sure we are fully drugged up before we go in. And the mere fact that they done showed these kids taking drugs is wild. Okay, they showed these people they showed the little babies taking drugs. This show is FTK to the extreme. But I also wanted y'all to pay attention to this too. Look at this. Yeah, I mean, y'all know, right? If you've seen the episode, you already know. Why he take the drug? Why did he take the drug? You know the twist already. Why did he take the drug? Because he's petty. That's why. Because he's petty. Anyway, Maddie goes ahead and takes them into the sewers. Now we see Daniels leading the other soldiers, and they realize that Halloran isn't with them anymore. And just then, Daniel makes a run for it, but as he's trying to escape, he drops the dagger in the sewers. Which, oh my God, bro, you had one job to protect that dagger. Anyway, Grandpa brings in Halloran's box with the lock on it, and he said that he found this deep inside of Halloran's soul, right? And his grandmother warned him again, keep that box closed and tight. Okay. And I want y'all to remember, this is something that goes back to The Shining. Once again, if you don't understand, this box is something that Halloran uses to put certain thoughts away or to put certain spirits away. This is how he traps those things in there. So he keeps that box nice and tight with the lock on it. But Pennywise, keep in mind, he's a much more powerful shining user, than Halloran is. So, of course, he knows where to find those deep, dark secrets. And even though Halloran does have that little box, he's like, listen, we gonna crack this thing. Okay, we gonna get into this box. And he shoots the grandmother, which of course triggers Halloran because that was his fear, right? He was afraid of his grandfather. He was afraid of the abuse. He was afraid of his grandmother getting hurt and stuff. And Pennywise don't care. Pennywise is laughing at his pain. Okay. And he's like, hey, we finna crack this lock. And he ends up doing it with ease. And just like that, Halloran is going through it because the whole thing is messing with his mind. All these bad memories, all these spirits, whatever, are running through his head, and he is immediately starting to suffer, right? He's starting to suffer with this. We go back to the kids, and they are tripping on acid. These drugs are starting to take their effect. They getting woozy and everything. And they just out there having a interesting time. An interesting time. Let's put it that way. Notice who's not affected though. Anyway, Leroy, he's in the sewers, and immediately he sees his wife Charlotte, and Polly is like, man, what the Charlotte? I don't see no Charlotte. Like, I know Charlotte, ain't no Charlotte there. And he's like, man, Leroy, what are you talking about, man? And Leroy's like, woman, what are you doing down here? And all of a sudden, Charlotte starts to do the Thriller dance, and she starts running after this man. And Leroy put a couple rounds right in her chest, right in the head, two in the head, two in the chest. Was like, nah, we ain't going down. Keep in mind, this man does not have fear, right? Or that fear part of his brain is out of there. That doesn't mean he don't feel things, but man, he was on point with it, put her down, and just like that, Pennywise done made this man see his wife, put her down. And what does Pennywise do? He smiles, because this is what this thing does. Like, this is the epitome of evil. The epitome of evil, right? So Leroy tells Paulie, like, hey, man, watch your back. Shoot anything that comes down here. I don't care if it's your gym teacher, your mama, whoever it is, shoot them. If they ain't supposed to be down here, you shoot them. All right, cool, bet. Anyway, we see the kids. They reach a dead end, and right as they think that it's time to leave, they start bumping into the different bodies of the missing children, and Maddie is just starting to twirl around, and the kids' bodies are piled up, and everybody is just screaming. And all of a sudden, Maddie's head starts to split open as he starts singing and twirling on the pole, and there goes Maddie's body right there. That's Maddie. The kids are like, wait a minute. How is Maddie down here, but he up there on the pole twirling and stripping and stuff? What is going on? And of course, that is when we get our very first reveal of Pennywise. Because it was Pennywise dressed as Maddie all this time. Can we just have a moment to think about the mere fact that Pennywise was so petty and so devious that he sat here and hung out with the kids in broad daylight for hours, all day, just hanging out with the kids, hanging out with the friends, eating snacks, telling stories, even acted like he didn't want to go back to the sewers, even though he really did. Popped a couple mollies. Like the level of deception. Pennywise be so committed to this. Like, come on. He should be called Petty Wise. That should be. I've never seen so much dedication to a ruse than by this monster. I've never seen it. Freddy ain't even go this far. Freddy at least wait till you go to sleep. Nah, Pennywise like, nah, I'm gonna go hang out with you. We gonna go have fun. We gonna go kick it and do bad things with my friends. We gonna do all of those things. And then I'm gonna lead you to the sewer and eat you. Oh my God. But yo, this was a great introduction, I think, for Pennywise, especially with like the waiting. I mean, they made us wait till episode 5 to finally show this monster in his true form. Well, not true form, but you know, oh, this I like this. This was a nice reveal. Did y'all know that Maddie was Pennywise all that time? Be honest. Don't sit here in front after the fact. Don't do that. Don't do that. Be honest. I got. Okay, I didn't know. I saw some of the signs, but I was just like, here's the thing. It's not unusual to have, you know, people escape. But I got. They got me. Did you get got? Because man, that was a great reveal. Great twist. Oh, anyway, the kids get to running as they should. As they should have, right? So they get to running, and you know, we still see that Leroy and Paulie, they can hear the kids running, and of course Leroy is ready. And this time we see Will running around the corner of the tunnel, and Leroy is ready to put that boy down like he did his mama 2 minutes earlier. But Paulie this time said, hold on, I can see them too. But like, I can see all the kids, Leroy, what you doing? But Leroy wasn't hearing that. His finger was on the trigger and he was ready to pull and take that shot. And he took the shot. But Paulie jumped in the way and took the bullet. Took it for the kids. Now, real quick, I just want to say, Paulie didn't have to die. Okay? Paulie did not have to die in this situation. I just don't believe he did. Because I understand that he had to, you know, I'm just saying he could have pushed Leroy's gun. You didn't have to be like, oh, hold on, let me get in front of the gun. All right, right here. Yeah, no, I got to die like real traumatic right here. Yeah. Bro, you could have pushed the gun. I'm just saying. But I get it. They had to do the dramatic effect. They had to, you know, go with the emotional stuff. I understand. But I'm just saying they could have fixed that a different way. They could have made that a little more believable. That's all. But anyway, Paulie took the shot. He took the shot. He protected the kids, you know, and yeah, he went down. You know, Leroy does try to save him, but Paulie was like, nah, man, it's my time. It's my time. I got to go. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm ready. It is what it is. And, you know, listen, Paulie was a literal ride or die good friend, right? I mean, he came in when Leroy was getting jumped in the early episodes. He appropriately snitched on Charlotte, you know, and told Leroy when she was at the police station. And he even took a bullet saving Leroy's son. Shout out to Paulie. He didn't have to die. But shout out to Paulie, okay? Shout out to Paulie. He did. Meanwhile, Lily is lost in the tunnels and comes up across a dead end. First of all, how do you get lost? I know it's scary. I know it's run. I'm just saying, if I'm running, I'm fixated on whoever's ahead of me. But anyway, she got lost. She's at a dead end. And of course, here comes Pennywise. Okay. And first of all, shout out to the cinematography. I love this. This angle right here of the clown shadow, beautiful. Just beautiful. And then, of course, he got to still be petty and show up as her pickled daddy, right? And right then, he's about to make her a late night snack, but he stops cold in his tracks. Apparently, this is where the dagger was dropped that Taniel had earlier. And Pennywise said, whatever. And he moonwalked his way out of there, just clean back and back into the shadows. So Lily picks up the dagger, and I'm assuming she's going to hold on to that now. Now we go back into town, and Mrs. Kirsch gets in the car until, she fixes everything, and she sees a black in the back of her car. Turns out it was actually Hank, who had escaped from prison. They go into the woods, and Hank is looking literally like a runaway slave. And that is when we find out that this was the white woman that Hank was hankering for all this time. It was Mrs. Kirsch. Well. Hank was out here doing the hanky-panky with Mrs. Kirsch. Boy. Now, I didn't see this coming either. Listen, the white woman angle, that was one thing. They told us that. I didn't know it was Mrs. Kirsch out of all people. But then again, shoot, her home life probably ain't all that great. So it makes sense, right? She don't want to deal with Mr. Kirsch or whatever. Shoot, she done upgraded and got her a black. Anyway, he tells her that, this is a dire situation, but he knows someone who can help. He knows somebody, right? And we go to the military base. We find out that Charlotte was on there, and she was the one that meets up with Mrs. Kirsch. So clearly they're going to work together to find a way to help Hank in some way, shape, or form. We see Leroy giving his statement about Paulie and the situation that happened in the sewers. And then, of course, General Shaw said that the Native Americans were going to answer for what they did to them. First of all, sir, that is mighty colonizer of you. The natives told you to mind your business. Matter of fact, they told your ancestors to mind their business. But what did y'all do in classic colonizer form? You ignored that. You played with the devil. Your soldiers got burned. Then you want to turn around and blame the Native Americans for leading you down there? Sir, make it make sense. Make it make sense. Are you serious? I told y'all about the power of deflection. Okay? This man took no responsibility for literally green lighting a whole search party to go down in them sewers. Then he gonna sit here and talk about, the natives, they gonna pay for what they did. Sir, shut up. Anyway, Leroy asked him, like, whatever happened to Halloran? Like, did he make it out? What happened? And Shaw said that, Halloran did make it out. He made it out of the sewers and he made it back to the base, but no one knows how. No one knows how he made it. And that's when we start to see Halloran coming out the sewers, and he started seeing stuff already, and that was the dead Paulie walking around. And that was it for episode 5. Yikes. So now Halloran can see dead people, and that is wild. One thing before I get to the comments, I want us to realize something just wild. Pennywise can not only enter your mind, shapeshift, create illusions, distort reality, but he can also be in multiple places at once. Did you notice that? While he was messing around with the soldiers, he was Maddie with the kids the whole time. The whole time. Pennywise is the primo villain. There is no one, there's no one else. I've never seen anybody else that can do what Pennywise does to that level and also have that much fun doing it. Just being weird. Anyway. Oh man, let's grab some of these comments here. Mike, what you got? Unfortunately, I know exactly how they feel. I've had my days growing up, but it doesn't sound like it was anxiety medicine. Man, listen. I'm assuming that was Xanax that they was taking. But like they was kids back then. What do they know? Didn't nobody care? Lily said that her mama was popping them things like M&Ms. Marge said, like, well, if they was bad, she would have died, right? She hit Lily with did she die? Like, that's crazy logic. But that was the 60s. Nobody knew. No one cared. Mike, again, thank you so much. The late night snack face had me. I almost broke my glass holding it up tight and was stuck just like Pennywise. Listen, that was crazy. That I will say that was a crazy scene, and that was definitely scary. I know I'd be scared. I would have been scared for sure. Oh, y'all think that was Valium? Maybe it was Valium. I don't know. I didn't do the research. I'm gonna see. I'm sure some nerds online gonna figure it out. Cross-reference and do something. But I'm just still shocked that they actually showed them kids taking the drugs. That's wild. Anyway, y'all know what time it is. It is time for the review portion. I need you guys to let me know on a scale from 0 to 10, what did you think about this episode? Let me know in the comments. While you're doing that, I'll give you my thoughts on the episode. Fantastic twist and reveal with Pennywise and the Maddie thing. Didn't see that coming. So I absolutely think that was great. I thought it was shot well. I love the cinematography in this episode, just the silhouettes, the shots, keeping the monster in the darkness and then revealing them in quick sequences worked perfectly. The writing I thought was on point. I think the CGI was a little bit better this time around. It was a little shaky in the last episode, but it got a little better. I think the acting was done well. Maddie, the Maddie turn I thought was fantastic. Just the acting and all that. And when you go back, I think that there is some good rewatchability here as well. So when it comes to the rating, y'all, I think I'm gonna have to give episode 5 a 9 out of 10. I enjoyed this a whole lot. They escalated things. They got me excited. I really want to go back and rewatch this anyway. And I think that's a great sign for any TV episode. But this is where I need to know, how did the people feel? How do y'all feel about this episode? Did y'all love it, hate it? Let's see what y'all had to say. I got a 10, a 9, a 9, a 9, a 10, a 9, a 10, 9.5, 8, okay, 9.5, all right, 9, 10, okay. Let's see what else. We got a 10, 8, 10, 9, 9.5, 9, 9.5, okay, 8, 9, 9.5, 9. What else? 10, 8.5, 8.75, and a 9. Who else? I saw a couple more. 9, 10. We're gonna round it off. 10, 10, and a 9. Okay. We got one more 10 to end it off. I think we loved this episode. I think that is fair to say. All right, y'all. That is it for episode 5 of Welcome to Derry. Listen, we got how many more episodes left? I think it's like 8 episodes. So we got 6, 7, 8. We got 3 more episodes left. I can't wait. So we will be back. I don't know if we'll do this again on Sunday. Maybe we will. Probably. But worst case, it'll be Monday. I know we got the holidays coming up. Really depends on what them leftovers do to me. I'll be very honest. It's what these leftovers are gonna do to me. That's what will depend on whether we go live on Sunday or on Monday, but we'll probably go live on Sunday. Anyway, guys, make sure you have a fantastic weekend. If I don't see you, we'll try and go live on Friday, but then again, it's gonna be Thanksgiving. So I hope you guys have some great food, enjoy some time with some friends, family, and loved ones, and enjoy yourselves. But we will be back here, same time, same place, hopefully sometime next week to talk about episode 6. And you guys know the routine. Wash your hands, wash your butts, and everything in between. And until next time, I'll see you guys later. Peace.